Hey there folks, my name is Kurn. Welcome back to yet another episode of Kurn's Guild Spotlight. This is episode 48. Before I continue, I just want to say that if you would like to submit your guild details for a completely free, awesome guild spotlight of your very own, just go to bit.ly/KurnGS, that's bit.ly/KURNGS, the link is in the description below, and fill out your guild details, and you will get your very own masterfully crafted guild spotlight in a couple of days. So do that now, because without your submissions, I can't continue doing this. While you're at it, you can also go check out kurn.info. That's my brand new, relatively new, guide site all about how to be a kick-ass guild master. That guide is on sale now, and there's lots of free stuff for you as well, so definitely check that out. Alright, having said all that, let us check out what guild is on the docket today. That would be Bound. They are a horde guild on the US Zul'jin server. You can find them at boundguild.com. That's boundguild.com. The link is in the description below. So, they are a 25-man semi-hardcore raiding guild. They were founded in June of 2009, so props to them for surviving 4 years. It's not an easy task, so my props to management. They're a guild that's based really upon constant improvement and communication, which I think is a great goal. Even if people don't always achieve that goal, it's still a great goal to have, to constantly better yourself and constantly communicate with each other. That's great. That's what a guild should be all about, in my humble opinion. While 25-man raiding is the major focus, it is balanced with other aspects of the game. So I would imagine you'd find, arena stuff, battleground stuff, pet battles, transmog stuff, anything within the game I'm sure you will find within this guild. They do have a strict 21 and over age requirement, which I kind of wondered about that, but the reasoning for that is that it really leads to like-minded adults becoming part of the guild. So it's not like a whole bunch of people spread out between the ages of 13 and 58, for example. It's really much more clustered in the over 21 age department, I guess. And it really leads to people going through things, I would imagine at the same time, people having kids, people getting married, blah, 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 all that stuff. And people are really like-minded, which is great. That's great for team cohesion. Let's see, they ended tier 15 at 2 of 13 hard modes with Jinrock and Jikun down, which is great. And they are actually, and this is really interesting, they are built up from the Rawrcast podcast community. I have to plead ignorance. I have not actually listened to the Rawrcast. I don't think I've heard of it, but I don't think I've actually ever listened to it. So I'm going to go do that after I record this. Let's see, when do they raid? They raid on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays from 10 p.m. until 1 a.m. Eastern, which is server time. That is 7 p.m. until 10 p.m. Pacific time. And that might be a little bit late, but it's not terribly late. It's still only 3 hours a night, and it's still only 9 hours a week. So definitely give them a look if those hours are decent for you. What are they currently seeking? All classes and specs. Flat out. Any class, any spec, but particularly those with heroic raiding experience. I think that this ties into their whole constant improvement value. 2 of 13 ain't bad in heroics, but perhaps recruiting people with heroic raiding experience, they would like to raise the bar. So I have to, take my hat off to these people for wanting to improve themselves. So that's great. Let's talk a little bit about Zul'jin. We already talked about them back on episode 44 of Kurn's Guild Spotlight with the guild Bloodhaze, but there have been some changes in Zul'jin since then. It's still, as always, a PvE EST server, but now there's 151,000 characters, which is 2,000 more characters. It's still grossly imbalanced in terms of Horde versus Alliance. Only 54,000 Alliance characters and only about 96,000 Horde characters. So that 2,000 character growth all to the Horde. There's 404 raiding guilds on this server, which is just sort of staggering. 48 25-mans, 356 10-mans. Holy cow. There are 184 guilds who ended this tier at least one of 13 hard modes in tier 15. That is an additional 29 from just a couple weeks ago. And there are now 10 guilds on the server at 13 of 13 hard modes, which is 3 more who have finished the tier completely. Huge rating server, not a server to be scared to go to. So, Bound is looking for all classes and specs, particularly those with heroic experience. They are a group of like-minded, mature adults, and they hope that you are the same. They do plan to clear Siege on 25-man in the span of a month. Lots of progress is really their goal, really up front. And they have a huge affiliation with the Rawrcast podcast. Bound started, they say, as an educated guess at what the Rawrcast community of listeners and readers would want of a well-managed guild of adults, and that is exactly what Bound has become. So sweet. That's great. I can't even fathom having that many listeners. For those of you who may recall, I did a short, small, kind of 75 episode long podcast called Blessing of Frost, and I'm pretty sure we only ever had about 8 listeners at any given time. Anyway, check out Rawrcast, which is obviously much more successful than Blessing of Frost because it spawned a guild, and you can check out the Rawrcast at rawrcast.com, rawrcast.com. That link is also in the description below. Finally, please do check out Bound at boundguild.com. Click right on through from the description. They seem like a great bunch of people who know what they want out of this game, and my hat is off to them. So go check them out. That'll do it for this episode of Kurn's Guild Spotlight. As always, please do follow me on Twitter at kurnmogh, at KURNMOGH. Check out my blog at kern.apotheosis-now.com. And of course, my guide site over at kern.info, chock full of all the info you need to be a kick-ass guildmaster. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you back here on Friday for yet another episode of Kurn's Guild Spotlight.